Hello everyone, today we are going to go to a nation to 2050. A nation whose name implies just one thing: great goods. Yes, today we're heading to Japan. How is life for the Japanese people? Can we stay in Japan? Are there Japanese products you cannot get anywhere in the world? Yes, Japan has several technologies which are technologies of 2050. How do Americans get to Japan? In today's video, we're going to attempt to get answers to all of these questions. Today's video is going to be very intriguing. Make sure to watch to the conclusion. Let's start a great trip to Japan now. When you see Japan for the first time, it doesn't seem like a typical country. What if we are stepping into the future? The trains are virtually on the second. The streets are so clean you can hardly believe it. Even the most quiet societies seem to drift with invisible precision. But that is the strange part. From the outside, Japan seems peaceful, perfectly structured. But beyond that image is a country forever balancing tradition, demand, innovation, and survival. You may find old temples right close to gleaming skyscrapers, where you have robots waiting on you at restaurants, where empty machines flood the street in darkness, and where people still bow in polite welcome to each other in one of the most technologically advanced societies on Earth. Conic, you've undoubtedly heard people refer to Japan as the nation living in 2050. But what does this mean in practice? How do you go on with life? Why is this land so addicting that after one visit, millions of tourists can't wait to come back? And why do so many people all over the world dream of relocating here, yet many Japanese themselves suffer in silence from loneliness and pressure? So the more you dig into Japan, the more contradictions you find. One moment is peaceful and really kind. Next is sci-fi-like. And maybe it is what is so amazing about Japan. Not just the tech, not the neon, not even the famous bullet trains. It's the idea that this country somehow managed to build the future without losing itself totally. As you explore Japan further, it continues to unveil remarkable insights that captivate and surprise, considering that this entire nation is built upon islands' remote landforms. Islands created through the dynamic processes of seismic activity. Islands embellished with grand mountains, precariously poised on the edge of disaster. In a remarkable manner, 124 million individuals have played a vital role in shaping one of the most advanced societies on Earth. Japan is an island nation situated in East Asia, made up of 4 main islands. Honshu, Hokkaido, Kyushu, and Shikoku offer a fascinating array of insights and experiences. Iconic, from the icy summits in the north to the welcoming, sun-kissed beaches of the southern tropics. The nation appears to represent a rich tapestry of varied realms intricately interwoven with one another. For centuries, the Japanese have identified their nation as Nippon, a term that translates directly to the origin of sunlight, the location where the sun first appears on the horizon. Japan remains celebrated around the world as the land of the rising sun. Nevertheless, the landscape alone fails to explain the unique characteristics that differentiate this nation. Japan holds a distinctive quality that seems to be fading in many developed nations. People experience longer lives in this location, remarkably prolonged lifespans. Iconic. As you take a moment to look around, you will notice older gentlemen serenely cycling through the charming, narrow streets. Women in their 90s are still taking independent strolls to local markets. Small family restaurants run by owners who have devoted years to honing a singular recipe. In many areas of Japan, life moves at a brisk pace. Nevertheless, people persist in concentrating on the finer points: nutritious sustenance, daily routines, choosing to take a leisurely walk instead of driving, appreciating the significance of time, thoughtfulness towards others. It's intriguing to consider how this might play a role in Japan's impressive life expectancy, which ranks among the highest in the world, not because of the flawless nature of existence here. Iconic, yet, even in a society that embraces what lies ahead, people are increasingly adopting the principles of discipline, balance, and the importance of genuine human relationships. But beneath Japan's calm streets and flawlessly punctual trains, there's a side of the nation that visitors never really experience. A side formed by pressure, self-control, and expectations that individuals have their whole lives. From a very young age, youngsters in Japan learn a basic concept. Don't make people uncomfortable. Don't waste people's time. And always keep your word. That attitude you can sense almost instantly when you get here. People queue up quietly for trains, kids travel to school by themselves, through neighborhoods full with people, and if you lose a wallet, there's a decent chance it will find its way back to you, unscathed. Even train stations full with millions of people are somehow peaceful and orderly. To many outsiders, it seems almost like a dream. Iconic, because in a world that may be so noisy and chaotic, Japan still functions on respect and social responsibility. And nowhere is this more apparent than in the workplace. Japan is known for its grueling labor ethic. People want to execute their work well, even when no one is looking. Taxi drivers wear clean white gloves. Late-in-the-night personnel at convenience stores are nice to customers. The train companies publicly apologize for delays measured in seconds. That kind of discipline was what helped Japan rebuild after World War II and become one of the safest and most efficient nations in the world. But every system has a price to pay, and in Japan, the price is typically emotional. Iconic, many people sacrifice sleep, relationships, and sometimes even mental health for long hours at the workplace. There's a Japanese term for dying from exhaustion, karoshi. Just think about it for a second. Such a developed nation, very organized, that individuals silently drive themselves past their boundaries simply to not let others down. And that perhaps is Japan's fundamental paradox. This is the same culture that produced incredible order and safety, has generated a silent loneliness that many individuals keep within. You can't understand modern Japan unless you remember one horrific thing. This country was once razed to the earth, cities erased off the map. It has destroyed millions of lives. 2 nuclear bombs changed human history forever. Many observers believed that Japan would never fully recover in 1945. But a few decades later, the same country surprised the world. Ruins gave way to industry railroads. Our broken bullet trains, slowly made in Japan, became a global symbol of quality and precision, not of cheap items. It wasn't a miracle, it was obsession. Obsession with promotion, with self-restraint, by doing the little things well every single day. And in the end, Japan became one of the most powerful economies on earth. Iconic Japan is known now around the world for its photography, electronics, robotics, games, and cars. Brands created here changed the way people throughout the world lived. But Japan feels different not simply because of technology. That was how deeply technology became a part of everyday human life. An average day in Japan might seem futuristic. Toilets set themselves free. The restaurants have automated ordering systems. Robots are driving cars in parking garages, and the trains operate as precisely as most countries can only dream. Some evenings when you are wandering around Tokyo, it is truly sort of like being in the future. Neon light on rain-slick streets. Silent trains pass past the buildings, vending machines glowing at 2 a.m. on desolate corners. But probably the most stunning is this one. Iconic. Behind all the machinery and technology, Japan still feels deeply human. Because the tech here was never about power flexing. It was made to be fast, more ease, and impose order on a place where space, time, and survival has always mattered. And then there is Tokyo. As soon as you step in here, you can feel the enthusiasm for Japan's future. No chill energy, just a short one. The train doors slide open, thousands of people walking in unison. Phone screens light up all around, neon lights sparkle on rain-slicked streets. And yet with all that action and commotion, everything works so delightfully perfectly. Tokyo is one of the world's largest cities. The metro area has a population of around 37 million. And that number you cannot comprehend until you are inside a Tokyo train station during rush hour. People flow like water. Fast. That's right. Shh. the crowd, and pressure, but the city never looks frantic. This is what most visitors are shocked by. Tokyo not looking out of control. Iconic. It seems like it's choreographed. Places like Shibuya Crossing become famous worldwide because they seem so unreal. Hundreds of people crossing at once beneath giant digital screens and flashing advertising. For a few seconds, it looks less like a city and a living machine. And Tokyo is more than just skyscrapers and technology. You pull off down a small side street and suddenly everything's different. Little ramen shops, elderly men smoking outside bars late at night. Apartment windows blazed late into the night. Office workers alone after long, hard days. That is the emotional core of Tokyo. Millions of people on millions of people, yet many remain lonely nonetheless. And nevertheless, people from all over the world fantasize of living here. Iconic, because Tokyo has something few cities have. Security, clean, convenience, luck. Yes, it is expensive to live here. Little apartments, hours and hours of work, always in motion. But to many, Tokyo is like seeing the future before the rest of the world gets to. If a train is 5 minutes late, people in most countries feel upset. In Japan, a train once publicly apologized for leaving 20 seconds early. Now think about it for a minute. Until late. Early. That small moment tells you almost everything you need to know about the Japanese view of time, responsibility, and public trust. Today, transportation is more than just moving people from one point to another. It's about being exact, disciplined, and to establish a society where millions of people may stroll together without falling into chaos. Japan has a railway system that is one of the greatest in the world. And when you see it for yourself, you understand why. The famous Shinkansen bullet trains are astounding in their speed, and extremely smooth and quiet. Iconic. You can have a cup of coffee and not drop a drop. Respond to email, or watch the globe pass by with cities zooming past you. For many, riding a Japanese bullet train is much more than just traditional transportation, and more like stepping into the future. But maybe more remarkable about Japan is how transportation knits together a society that is spread out across islands. Some railroads also go via tunnels under the sea, linking different parts of the nation. Pause and consider it for a moment. A train in the sea, combining vibrant modern city with secluded highland settlements and quiet fishing villages, and yet everything is weirdly on time. That level of reliability alters the everyday. Here, people trust the system. Students go by themselves. Iconic workers doze off on train rides without fear. Transportation is so critical to entire cities that it appears to operate with machine-like precision. Tokyo stations at night are vibrant with moving lights and digital displays and constant flows of people. It is like a movie. It is almost like a dream. And perhaps it is the real key of Japan's transportation system. It's not only getting folks to move faster, it joins millions of strangers into one enormous live network. But maybe the most surreal thing about Japan is that even the most mundane existence may feel totally surreal. Not because people want to show off to the world. In time, Japan created its own way of life. The one that most commonly stops travelers in their tracks is wait. This exists. Space is at a premium in many Japanese cities. Apartments' little rooms are well thought out, and people learn to live on less. But it frequently seems meaningful, not horrible. There is a reason behind everything. Every item has its place. This basic lifestyle was assimilated into Japanese society itself. And then there are the things you can hardly tell you. Iconic rectangular watermelons that fit well in freezers, hundreds of weird Kit Kat varieties that you would never find anywhere else in the world. Hot noodle baths are just individuals sitting in warm soup water to relax. At first it appears absurd, until you see Japan convert ordinary things into spectacular things. Even eating here is a treat. In many Western nations, it is considered poor etiquette to make a noise whilst eating. But in Japan, slurping noodles noisily is really a sign that you like the cuisine. It is a little bit of cultural difference yet. It tells you a lot about how bizarre daily life is here. Then there are the vending machines. They are all over the place, in a busy street, close to train stations, sometimes even in quiet areas, late at night. Drink, mini scoops, brolies, Honic hot food, batteries. Japan has elevated convenience to an art, and perhaps this is the reason why this nation fascinates people so much. Japan is not just technologically advanced. I mean, it feels like it. It's a different existence in the day-to-day. But no matter how futuristic Japan becomes, there are always moments here that seem antiquated. Shh, holy shit, barely touched by time. You may step out of a jam-packed Tokyo rail station with neon lights and huge digital displays, and in a few hours you'll be standing before a peaceful shrine with trees and mountains all about. It's this contrast that makes Japan so remarkable. Few countries blend technology, history, and environment as successfully as this one. The future is one moment. The next looks like going back hundreds of years. The greatest recognized example is probably Fuji. Its snow-capped peak has become an icon of Japan itself. But in the flesh it feels different, bigger, more together, to the limits of the spiritual. Iconic. The summit has been a source of astonishment to people for centuries. And then there is Kyoto, a city with antique timber alleyways, temples and traditional gardens amazingly surviving the modern day. The streets of Kyoto at night are cinematic. Soft lantern light, footfall on calm stone walkways, new buildings and old temples nestle side by side. Then Japan surprises you again. Not far away there are other anime museums, gaming areas, and even places inspired by characters like Doraemon. That's the wonderful allure of Japanese travel. It does not force you to pick between ancient and new. You may see a temple which is 1,000 years old in the morning, then spend the evening in a glittering arcade of future technology. Small villages in Japan are also unique. Iconic places with wooden cottages, alpine streams, and centuries-old traditions. And maybe it is why so many fall in love with this country after a single visit. Japan does not only show you beautiful places, it seems you have traveled across several worlds in a single day. And now, Japan is facing an unthinkable future. No wars, not annihilation. Something quieter, population decline, schools are closing down all throughout Japan. The little communities are becoming desolate, and they're the only ones surviving are elderly persons quietly putting in their final years. A country of energy and incredible progress. Once, I realized the calm is becoming deafening. Japan boasts one of the world's oldest populations. People are living longer and there are fewer babies being born. This means that the country needs more and more foreign labor to sustain its economy. There are many people from countries like Pakistan and India who go to locations like Tokyo and Osaka today for jobs, education, and new opportunities. Iconic. Some come in via skilled labor programs, others come for the promise of a better and more secure future. And first interesting to many travelers is Japan. Clean streets, reliable systems, low crime rates, a culture that still appreciates respect and discipline, but long-term residence here may be emotionally exhausting. The language barrier, loneliness, the difficulty of adjusting to a completely different culture. Japan tentatively opens to the world, slow. This country has always watched after its identity with a quiet seriousness. And maybe this is why Japan still remains one of the most fascinating places on Earth. A nation that survived nuclear catastrophe, rebuilt itself to become a superpower, created technologies that altered mankind. Iconic. He still bows politely before entering a room. Old, new, silent, worn out, hopeful, private. Japan is all of this at the same time, and maybe that is why people talk about it continuously. Japan is more than a country you visit. It's a country that stays with you long after you've left. If this gave you a fresh viewpoint, subscribe for more intriguing views, and tell me what spoke to you the most in today's video. Thanks for viewing the whole video. See you in the future one.